Okay. Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Thi Anh Nguyen and I'm a doctoral composition student at Florida State University. Today it is my honor to be here with you and talk about one of my latest work, A Vietnamese Mother's Letter to Nixon. This piece is written for amplified Mezzo-Soprano, chamber ensemble, and live electronics. The work was premiered at the Polymorphia Florida State University New Music Ensemble concert in November 2023, conducted by Lilia Ugai and performed by the phenomenal musicians at FSU, Florida State University. The piece was presented at the Soundcheck Festival of Asian American Music. By the Music of Asian American Research Center, and also presented at the Composition Masterclass with Du Yun at Florida State University Festival of New Music. Okay, so before I talk about my music, I want to talk about Nguyen Thai Binh and his story which inspired this piece. So Nguyen Thai Binh, he was one of the most excellent student from South Vietnam during the Vietnam-American War, and he earned a scholarship to study at the University of Washington. So when he came to the US, he learned about the devastation of war in Vietnam, and that is because in the US, the media has the right to report the news about the Vietnam War, usually without any filter and with a lot of transparency. So ironically, when he came to the US, he learned more about the Vietnam War than when he was in South Vietnam, where the media was much more censored. So that reality transformed him into a prominent leader of the anti-war movement in Seattle, and I would say maybe in the whole west coast of the US. And during that time, the 60s and 70s, we saw a rise in American student activism. However, in most of these anti-war movements, they don't have a lot of authentic Vietnamese voices. So Nguyen Thai Binh activism actually provided a crucial Vietnamese perspective to all of these anti-war movements in the United States. Sadly, due to his activism, he was deported after graduating with honors from UW in 1972, and on his plane back to Vietnam, he was killed with 5 bullets in the chest, and people accused him that he was trying to hijack the Pan Am flight at this time, but later the bombs in his hand turned out to be just lemon wrapped in foil. So in that picture over there, there's a newspaper reporting about his death, that him lying in front, outside of the plane, and the guy below that, it was the pilot. And I became more personally motivated by Nguyen Thai Binh stories since my parents started working on their documentary and book about him. And as I was helping my parents as a translator, I found this letter from the digital collection of UW library website. Not long after his death, his mother, Thi Anh, wrote a letter to President Nixon to plead for further investigation of her son's death. Regrettably, her letter remained unanswered. However, the power of a mother's heart and the deafening silence resonated far beyond the confines of history. And now they have found a new voice in my music composition, A Vietnamese Mother's Letter to Nixon. And the text in this work are the entirety of Thi Anh's letter, and I try to use various sounds and extended techniques to capture the raw pain of a mother's loss and her unwavering pursuit of truth and justice. The letter is about 1 page long, but here is an excerpt. But without having yet celebrated our son's graduation, we found ourselves mourning his death. The day he left Vietnam, he went with sound body. He left with a determination to seek progress, hoping to understand the civilization of your honorable country in order to return and help our wretched Vietnamese people. But the day he returned, he was but a corpse without a soul, with 5 bullet holes in his chest and bearing the label of air pirate. And and also this picture was taken by Trầm Hương, the writer who writes about this mother, and the writer also happened to be my mother. So she actually met the mother and took this picture. Okay, so due to the time limit, I think maybe it's better for me to share this QR code over here. Here you can find the program notes, the video performance, and the perusal score. And from this website, if you scroll to the end, you can see a button called the perusal score, and at this time it's still in the format of a video score, but if you prefer to read the PDF file, I think maybe you can reach out to me and I'll send you the PDF file later. All right. Also, for my presentation today, I will focus most on the vocal techniques, but I can also touch on other kinds of techniques when it's appropriate. So as I mentioned before, the text is based on the entire letter of Thi Anh. So it's long and it has significant weightiness in length and various emotions. Hence, my aim was to convey the mother's feelings through various vocal technique. The piece begins with a pre-recorded tape in which a cold, bureaucratic male voice recites the letter's opening and represents the uncaring politicians. The typewriter sound represents the format of the original letter. Then, as the instruments and voice gradually emerge, the tape becomes less audible. This crossfade effect preserves the formality of the letter, including information such as date and time and subject, while letting the mother just go straight to the point when she begins to sing.
Republic of Vietnam, Saigon, July 17, 1972. To President of the United States. Subject: plea to investigate the mortal shooting of student Nguyen Thai Binh on July 2, 1972, aboard a Pan American B-747. Honorable President, I, the undersigned, Mrs. Lei Thi, 50 years old, identification number 02082927, issued at the Federal District on June 18, 1969, now residing at number 4 Saigon Harbor Service, Housing Block. Born January 14, 1948, a student from Vietnam who has received a scholarship from your honorable country since 1960.
So as you may have heard, when the soprano, the mezzo-soprano, also the mother, came in to begin the piece, she sang Honorable President 3 times, each time with a slightly different variation of the same motive. And the term Honorable President, addressing to Nixon, was also a recurring motive in the piece. And whenever it happens again, I try to set it with a slightly different emotion. And here are some other vocal techniques I use in the piece: speaking, singing, Sprechstimme, yelling, singing instrumental players. That is when the instrumental players in the chamber ensemble also join in with the singer and sing as if they are a small singing group. So here are some more examples. Okay, so here the singer switch from singing tenderly to speaking. And in this piece, some proper names like the name of the mother, Thi Anh, and the name of that student, Nguyen Thai Binh, they are sung on the same set of DAC. So let me just quickly play it on the piano. Yeah, so whenever that D, A, C, D happening is usually said with the proper name of the Vietnamese people. And in another part, the singer constantly switches between speaking and Sprechstimme. She mainly sings the Vietnamese names, and the melody also helps her pronounce the tones of the language properly. Okay, and here in this climatic part of the piece where the mother constantly asked President Nixon questions about the lack of investigation into her son's assassination. Now the instrumental players also sing and speak to share in with her pain and indignation.
My son was murdered! By Pilot Vaughn and a U.S. passenger on the B-747 while landing at According to the pilot and the Vietnamese police, my son was killed because he attempted to force the airplane to Hanoi. I cannot imagine such a thing. To steal an airplane with a pocket knife and a bomb is even more. If he held a bomb in his hand, why, when Pilot Vaughn grabbed my son by the neck,
did her son not explode the bomb?
But instead allow the American passenger, a former FBI agent, shoot him?
Yeah, so in that passage, you might see that the text is exchanged, like it's moved around in the ensemble. Each instrumental player also take part in reading or singing the text with the singer. Okay, so I would like to play the whole performance. And since we have a small screen right here, I think it's better for me to play the video of the performance. And again, if you like to read along with the score, you can always go to my website that I share at the beginning and read along with the perusal score that I shared on that site.
Republic of Vietnam, Saigon, July 17, 1972. To President of the United States. Subject: plea to investigate the mortal shooting of student Nguyen Thai Binh on July 2, 1972, aboard a Pan American B-747. Honorable President, I, the undersigned, Mrs. Lei Thi Anh, 50 years old, identification number 02082927, issued at the 4th District on June 18, 1969, now residing at number 4 Saigon Harbor Service, Housing Block, student Nguyen Thai Binh, born January 14, 1948, a student from Vietnam who had received a scholarship from the honorable country since 1960.
had received a scholarship from your country since 1960. My son received his degree and was awarded by the government to steal an airplane with a pocket knife and a bomb is even more. If he had a bomb in his hand, why, when Pilot Vaughn grabbed my son by the neck,
Did her son not explode the bomb?
but instead allow the American passenger, a former FBI agent, shoot him?
It seems to me that the shooting of my son by the pilot was a very dangerous act if, in fact, he really carried a bomb.
For such an explosion,
Would have killed many passengers immediately on the airplane.
Furthermore, when my son had been overtaken, why didn't the pilot hand him over to the Vietnamese police to kill? An arrest, an investigation into who might be the instigator of a plot to hijack the plane.
Or what the motive might be.
Is there one I'm killing? I think the murder of my son was planned in advance. Perhaps an assassination. For what other reason? Did Mr. Hayes really not die on the plane? Honorable President. In the position of a powerful nation, and as the leader of the free world, justice in the United States has been a torch for other countries to follow. Wholeheartedly and respectfully request, Mr. President, not to open an investigation into this affair in order to clarify the incident and hopefully erase the label.
So that's the end of the piece. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, but due to the time constraints I have today, the vocal techniques is the only main focus that I can talk about. But hopefully in the future, I can talk more about other aspects of this piece that I really take care of when I compose this piece, such as things such as instrumental techniques. I use quite a lot of extended techniques for all of these instruments in the ensemble as a way to explore how to describe and depict the emotions of the mother. Pitch and rhythm text rehearsal process is also a very interesting process, because when the ensemble started rehearsing my piece, it was not 100% completed, and that is intentional. And as we practice and rehearse together, the piece also evolved. So technically, when I compose this piece, I work like this with my players, and I receive a lot of feedback right when I was composing the piece. So it's a really interesting learning experience for me as a composer. And so if there's anything you would like to hear more about this piece, please let me know, and I'm happy to talk more about that when I have the chance. And for a little bit of the social network thing, this piece was actually featured in the Theorist Composer Collaboration TCC podcast interview, in which my friend Aaron Zarilla, a graduate music theorist at Florida State University, gave me 45-minute interview about my journey as a Vietnamese composer in the US. And this particular piece, and I addressed more of the topics on the previous slide in this podcast. So if you can check it out, I'm gonna be really thankful. And also you can also find my website and social media links on this site too. Okay, so so I think this is the end of my speech. Thank you so much. Thank you.